first presidential debate is now underway, under a week away, and the economy will no doubt be a topic of discussion. Joining us now is Yahoo Finance's own Rick Newman. Rick, the latest edition of Bidenomics. Where are we going with this one?
Well, I looked at the latest debt outlook that the congressional budget put out this week. This hardly ever makes headlines anymore, but look, the budget outlook only gets worse. It never gets better. So back in February, when they last updated this data, they thought the deficit for the year we're in, 2024, would be $1.5 trillion. Guess what? It went up. Now they think the deficit will be $1.9 trillion. And you've got Biden and Trump kind of flinging mud at each other on this issue. Biden, when that news came out, Biden said, well, Trump just wants to make everything worse. He wants to extend these tax cuts for billionaires and millionaires that would add another $4 trillion to the national debt. Biden said, I have a plan, and he pointed to his plan. But the fact is, Biden had the same plan in 2020 and in 2021 and 22 when Democrats controlled Congress, and those tax increases he wanted to put in place, he couldn't get that done. And by the way, Biden also, by slashing, canceling student debt by $150 billion this year, all of that money just got tacked onto the national debt. So we've got politicians. I mean, Washington is just filled with politicians who give this issue lip service, but there is nobody who wants to solve this problem. The reason they don't want to solve the problem is it's going to be an unhappy solution, and voters are going to punish them when their taxes go up or their benefits get cut. So everybody hates this problem, but there's nobody who really wants to solve it.
And Rick, we were just talking to Nancy Tengler about, that there are also sort of inflationary implications of this as well. So you would think that would be a little bit of a motivator.
Well, the inflation implications of debt and debt financing are complicated. And voters basically look at the price of gas and they say, I'm happy or I'm unhappy with the guy who's in power. And it's just easier. I mean, if you go back 10 or 15 years or even 20, there were people who, many people, serious economists, finance experts, and politicians who said, if we were churning out the amount of debt that the Treasury is printing right now, markets would rebel and we would never be able to get away with it as a country. Well, it has turned out we are getting away with it. The market just keeps absorbing way more U.S. debt in the form of Treasury securities than I think anybody ever thought was possible 10 or 20 years ago. So the market is enabling what are basically terrible fiscal habits. Some president is going to have to deal with this. The solutions are not that complicated. It's going to be a combination of tax increases and benefit cuts. But nobody wants to suggest those things or try to put them in place before it's absolutely necessary because voters don't want to hear it. So we're all to blame for this mess.
Well, maybe a president in 2050 or 2075 or 3000.
Well, the way to think about it, the market is going to force a solution. We just don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, right.
And until the market does force politicians to do something, they will not do anything at all.
Yeah, I think I'm calling 2100 at this point. Thanks a lot, Rick. Appreciate it.
That's optimistic, Julie.